What's up, writers? In this quick tips video, we're going to focus on the essential thing that makes fiction the delicious little prose nut that it is. We'll start with an example. What's the difference between these two passages? Passage A, Lindy had an argument with her mom. Passage B, no way am I going to wear that, said Lindy. Her mom held the purple dress up to her again. But honey, it looks adorable, Lindy frowned. I don't want to look adorable. A couple things might stand out to you. B is longer than A. B has dialogue. But the critical thing for fiction writers to note is that passage A tells us what happened while passage B shows us. Most writers are familiar with the common phrase, show don't tell. But for many writers, this phrase can be confusing or even misleading. In fiction, it's not a good idea to show don't tell all the time. Both showing and telling are necessary for good story writing. After all, we tell a story, or at least we tell parts of it, but other parts must be shown. So a critical skill for writers to develop is learning when to tell things and when to show them, and learning how to switch back and forth between showing and telling. Let's start with what showing does that can make it more effective in some situations than telling. If we look at the above examples, passage A tells us that Lindy had an argument with her mom. We might think we know something from this, but we actually know very little. We don't know what the argument was about, we don't know anything about Lindy or her mom's characters, and there isn't much to experience or interpret. We just have what the writer told us happened. Contrast this now to passage B. Notice, at no point are we told in passage B that Lindy had an argument with her mom, but we don't need to be told. We can figure this out from the details and dialogue, and figuring things out on our own is a big part of the enjoyment of reading. In addition, from lines like, no way am I going to wear that, we can start to develop a sense of Lindy's character. We might see her as headstrong, stubborn, and perhaps a little bratty. From details like, her mom held the purple dress up to her again, we might start to develop a sense of the mom's character too. We might see, for instance, that the mom is trying to force a certain image onto Lindy. Indeed, the more we think about the dialogue and details in this passage, the more we might realize that this isn't an argument over a dress at all. It's an argument about identity. Lindy's mom wants her to be a certain way, and Lindy's trying to get her mom to see that she's not that little girl anymore. None of this is told to us in the passage, but it's all there, along with much more we could interpret. I'd bet if we were to try to tell everything that's shown in passage B, it would take several long, boring paragraphs. It's like the old adage, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Only instead of a picture, a few good showing lines give the reader an experience that conveys much more than could be told, while also being more interesting. Here's another example. Frankie had a difficult relationship with his dad. Ask yourself, is this a telling line or a showing line? Hopefully you'll agree that it's telling us something. It's making judgments for us without giving us something to experience and interpret. There's nothing wrong with this line. There are many instances when a summary line like this can be effective. But by telling this line, we miss an opportunity to show exactly what Frankie's relationship is like with his dad. And we miss an opportunity to develop Frankie and his dad's characters. My challenge for you is to show what's told in the above line. Using details and dialogue, write a brief scene that shows us exactly how Frankie and his dad interact. Go ahead and pause the video now and see if you can show this. Seriously, pause the video and try to show that line. You'll get much more out of this if you do. And we're back. Did you do it? If you did, you might have noticed that showing things is a lot harder than telling them. That's why telling is often considered lazy writing, and that's why writers are often encouraged to show don't tell, because too often telling is our default. Showing involves a completely different writing process. It even engages different parts of the brain. This is because rather than telling something you already know, to show things you have to invent what characters do, and to do this, you have to venture into the unknown. There are an infinite number of ways you might show the line, Frankie had a difficult relationship with his dad. Here's one. Whoop. I bet I can beat you to that stop sign, said Frankie. All right, what are you willing to bet? Asked his dad. $5. Frankie held up the crisp bill his grandmother had sent him on his 5th birthday. Okay, go, said his dad. Frankie took off, pumping his legs as fast as he could. His dad soon pulled ahead and reached the stop sign. Frankie looked at him in disbelief. This is now mine, said his dad, yanking the crisp bill from Frankie's hand. No fair! His dad pocketed the bill and strode back toward the house. Remember this, Franklin. Never make a bet you're not willing to lose. And now we know something specific about Frankie's difficult relationship with his dad. See part 2 of The Essence of Fiction for more quick tips on when to tell and when to show things. And if this helped, please click the like button below. Check out my website for more writing and publishing tips. Happy writing, y'all.